Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our majestic struggle in the East, in War in the East 2, in our multiplayer game against the lovely Nick the Trojan, as we are playing in the Wehrmacht and its allies in 1941 in Operation Barbarossa in the Grand Campaign with early victory. And we're in turn number 6 now, late July 1941, and we have made a solid headway, but it's not without struggles, and it seems like Kiev might be relatively empty now as well, so that is going to be interesting. Sadly, most of the enemy units here escaped our pocket, which is highly frustrating. We will have to readjust there. We took Smolensk last turn, which was a good success. We will seemingly be able to push towards Bryansk and the southern regions here. It's going to be interesting. So far, Nick has avoided fights with us as good as possible. The question is, how long can he keep that up? And when will we be able to force him into a fight? And how good will that go then? We are currently moving one of our tank divisions further south. We will move other units around as well this turn. Not that many new units coming in this turn. No new divisions whatsoever. But we will go through with it. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how we can move up with Army Group North. But first, let's execute the air. Already did the air plans with the recon and so on that is necessary. And now we're gonna do our job here again. Our airplanes are flying their recon missions that they need to fly to give us the intel that we want. We fly in the north here around Tallinn and around Novgorod, and then obviously in front of Smolensk, in front of Bryansk, and down in the south all around Kiev, down to the Black Sea. Odessa is surrounded. Goals for this turn will be to take Odessa, to move on to Tallinn, to move on here towards Rzhev via the northern route, to see if we can break through, where we can break through over here, to get towards Bryansk. So this will be an interesting fight, and to especially cross the Dnepr. So as you can see, his Kiev is relatively lightly defended now. He took away a lot of units and moved over the river. He tries to avoid being surrounded there as much as possible. He has a lot of units here now on the Ingul River. Interesting. And yeah, Odessa is heavily defended, but not impossible to break, I would say. So we're gonna start as always with Army Group North. As you can see, our railway units continue repairing our rear here. Trying to get some repairs going on there. Trying to get some repairs up to Daugavpils as well. Before we forget it, we will move this unit down to the south. And we will move it all the way up to the front line. This is the 6th Panzer. It came from Army Group North. As Army Group North has nearly achieved all its objectives that we have set out for it for 1941, we will now divert its forces to other objectives, whilst keeping a force up there that is strong enough to defend. So, yeah, the 6th Panzer Division will be now part of the Southern Strike, which is the main objective. For everyone who's new, our objectives, the way to victory is to take victory points here. And we also need to capture a specific amount of points in the next 10 turns. We are currently at 400 something. If we have a look at this one, we have currently 437 points. We need 525 at turn 16 to avoid loss. If we have 700 at turn 16, that's an automatic victory, but that should not happen, and will not happen. I can already tell you that much. My first turns were not good enough for ever allowing that. Hopefully we can reach the 525 in the next 10 turns. Should be doable. A goal for 1942 though in the Grand scheme of things are to take Maikop and Krasnodar and the Rojov area here, occupying the Krim, hopefully taking Sevastopol. We're gonna see about that. And yeah, strike south here. And then further up north, we want to hold Orel, Kursk for sure. Maybe Voronezh. It would be good if we could hold along the Don here and then have a front line down to the Donetsk. That would be the preferable outcome. We would be fine with a Kursk-Kharkov line as well. Orel, Kursk, Kharkov, they are all on a nice line, and that line then extends up to Rzhev in the north through Vyazma. That's a line we want to hold in 1941, at the end of 1941. Tula, important, but not really a key of ours. Like, if we kind of can get there in a good fashion, we will strike there. Moscow, not a goal. Leningrad, not a goal early on. If we want to get some oil, we want to strike south, we want to get there. And in the meantime, yeah, Army Group North, its goal will be to hold here at the Nava River. That's a nice bottleneck that we can defend. Good river, good defensive hexes. We can get supply into our ports up here, as all fine. And then here, using the Lake Paipus to shorten the front line, and the Lake Pskov, and then holding defensive line down here in the south from Pskov down to the south. The other part of Army Group North, 60th Army and the 4th Panzer Group, currently trying to push through Rzhev, trying to outflank the enemy here. So we will continue now here with Army Group North and its units to try to move on towards Tallinn. Sadly, the weather for July is terrible. We are highly unfortunate in that regard. At least next turn, we won't have much rain anymore. We still will have rain in the northern part of the front. So, yeah, having rain over half of the, over the northern part of the Soviet Union, really annoying, with light mud there as well. Really unfortunate for July with the weather. Not what we hoped for, as it's already a second week of rain, which is why the mud really also becomes part of it now. All around the front. And that slows down our advance even further. Okay, let's move on. Let's get up here. Yeah, I know. I mean, I have played this game before. I have played a full campaign on my own. It's just my first multiplayer campaign that you're seeing here. So, yeah, we're gonna push towards Tallinn with our 2 corps up here. And these 2 corps are supposed to take the northern section. And then we will have 4 or 6, most likely 4 infantry divisions here holding the Nava line, and then these 2 will move towards Pskov after taking Tallinn. Taking Tallinn would be great. We are a bit slow here though. The enemy did retreat from us, away from us over here, which is interesting. They retreated really far. Like, our recon planes have not found anything here. We will just... Oh, as I say that, actually, they are here. Our recon planes just were blind as hell then. Okay, that's actually... Those are actually rather big formations. We will take this fight. This is a really strong division. Yeah, we will take this fight then. If we want to inflict casualties, if possible, up here, we are not here to push towards Leningrad too hard. We just want to inflict casualties, keep him occupied up here in the north. That's the goal of Army Group North. The opponent is Nick the Trojan. Okay, that's a rather strong defensive line as well. This formation is not on its peak performance anymore. We might want to give it some rest. Of these motorized formations could use some. That's this unit moves on here. Okay, no formation there. This was rather strong defensively, right? Yes. You're not exhausted, but you have rather low readiness as well. Sitting one out, I guess, might be the best idea with you. Meanwhile, our repair unit will move south. And we will continue repairing rail here. To really get this network back online. Soon, yeah, and then we'll move down here and then repair this Polotsk, Daugov, Pils line. Rail and supply, really important. Our current supply situation is Pishkov as a supply hub is really helpful for Army Group North. Army Group North doing rather well supply-wise. Mostly thanks to the rail lines in the Baltic states using the same gauge as the German gauge and the same width for the tracks, so that we don't have to repair as many hexes of or work on as many hexes of rail as we have in the Soviet Union, where even if we don't damage or destroy the tracks, we still have to change the width of the tracks because our trains cannot run on the small width tracks on the small gauge that the Soviets use. So our rail repair units have to go over every single hex and do work there to allow our trains to run over. We are all the way up to Orsha by now with that. As a supply hub, Orsha is still not really in service though. Like, a bit comes out of Orsha, but most still come out of Minsk, which is good that Minsk is up here now. We have its rail repair damage down to 30%, which is really good. Borisov, sadly not quite the same thing, but it's getting better here as well. Borisov helping out a bit closer to frontline. Orsha, I think, is still rather heavily damaged. Yeah, we need to put some priority on that. Get that repaired so that we have a better supply line directly to the front line. Yeah, in general, supply situation improved this turn once more. Down in the south, we have now supply from up here in Sherminka, which still has relatively damaged rail as well, but it's not completely catastrophic. And then we have supply over here as well, but that is not quite what we want to go. We want to get up to Brusque, and that's where we are now. And from Brusque out, it should be relatively easy to get stuff out to the people. Actually, is Pabrusk not a... Wait, Pabrusk doesn't have a rail yard? I was really sure it would have a rail yard. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, this game is detailed down to every single level of unit. Like, every division has its equipment down to tank to the motorcycle squadron. Where you also have the weapons. These are all need to be produced. They're all getting produced in their historical amounts. And you then have to... it automates them forward. You have fatigue on each unit. You have readiness on each unit. Experience level. Like this 8th Panzer Division, for example, is really experienced. And yeah, we're gonna move on now. In the north. With our army group here. Yes. We want to advance here towards Rzhev through this gap. And for that, we're gonna move our tank divisions forward. Okay, we have a position here. That was to be expected to some extent. He can't just give up here. If we outflank him around Rzhev, that would be rather catastrophic for him, I think. Take these hexes. BOT division. Clear up the rear. Yeah. So let's attack over here. Okay, he has a lot of formations up here. If we look at the hexes, they're all wood, right? Heavy wood. Wait. Average road, minor river. Heavy wood as well, yeah. Which is not perfect. Far from it, actually. Okay. Here, the infantry divisions can do better. Here, these hexes will be, or this hex at least will be better. These two hexes here. But I don't think he will wait there. I'm pretty sure he will retreat back one more hex. Up north, we don't have any better terrain, so we should strike east now with our tanks. This infantry formation can move up, but it doesn't really have a force attack there. Let's attack with these two. Nice. Like we break through here heavily. The Soviets still not really ready to take our attacks. So our tanks can roll forward a bit. At the northern situation, Andrei Pole is taken, so these units will have to retreat further. They can't really stand up and fight there. I don't believe, at least. Just gonna move these forward to make sure that they don't outflank us. Or we can even most likely do an attack against one of these. Yes, easily taken out. Another 8,000 Russians brought to the knees. Let's remove one here. Oh! Can't attack there. Because it's across the river and we don't have the activation points. The points behind the unit, like the one in the front, is their assault value, which gets calculated by ready, like supplies, obviously, what kind of tanks they have, what kind of experience they have, and also two really important numbers are these two here. This is exhaustion and this is combat readiness. Both getting increase if you stand still and give your units time to rest, and exhaustion rises with movement, especially through enemy hexes, or previously controlled enemy hexes. And combat readiness obviously reduces with combat mostly. Both really, really important values. If they are at 100, your troops are really, really strong. If they're below that, your troops start to really suffer. We don't have a force attack here. Okay. These are actually rather strong forces. No, that is actually most likely a bit too strong for us. These units here now are part of Army Group Center. Army Group North is mostly done with now. We haven't seen anything in Tallinn with our recon either, but our recon missions might not have even been flown. I'm in the north too much. I saw some planes going up there, but I guess the weather is just not good enough. In the south, you can see we have spotted a lot of enemy units. So, yeah. Let's see. We could potentially try to attack here. That could go right, that could go wrong. Let's... Okay, yeah, it goes right. We have to do some attacks. Like it's... We are the aggressor. This can't work out though. This unit will move here. Is there a unit up there as well? Oh yeah, that's actually a lot of units up there. We will have a strike here. We should have a strike here. Yep. As I said, the goal is Rzhev, Vyazma, Orel, Kursk for 1941. We don't want to get to Kalinin. We don't want to get to Moscow. We don't want to get to Tula. And I don't think we will get to any of these cities by accident. Yaroslavl and Gorky, obviously. Not even speak about. Neither is Tambov. Voronezh, potentially. Kursk, Kharkov, on all of these cities here in the south. Odessa, we will have to try to get this turn. Yeah, this we have to think about a bit. So these should potentially go all around here. One maybe into the rear up here. We don't want to send too many into the woods here. Like getting this road hex free is the most important. But for that reason, we could put some units in here into that hex, where they then can strike out next turn against this. This is 39 defensive value. The in front one is the attack. The rear one is the defensive value of the Soviets. Their values are all a bit inflated at the moment because their morale is rather low. So even though they have high combat values, they might still break and get overrun just because of morale issues. But 39 is still a serious number. And we currently don't even quite face that, even with our tank units here. We might have to use our air force to try to pummel that into the ground. Big question is we don't even see what is there. Please tell me is there nothing there? No, there must be something there, right? No, there's not. Okay. There is more stuff here, right? Yes. Okay, these can't be beaten. Our railway will be building up all the way to Smolensk first. Which we should nearly reach this turn. Oh! We actually repair all the way up to Smolensk. That is absolutely freaking fantastic. Meaning that we can try to repair Smolensk rail yard and maybe even get supply directly out of Smolensk next turn, which would help out this Panzer Division, for example, which currently is down to 50% of all of its supplies. 19th Panzer. Not the greatest of combat readiness situations here for this division. Highly experienced. Yeah, has a lot of Panzer IVs. Mostly Panzer 38s though. Panzer 38T. Which are pretty good tanks, but yeah, the push in here, I don't know if we can take this turn. I don't think we should. I think that would be a slaughter that we rather try to avoid. The northern flank here is good. But this is currently moving on. That potentially could threaten his rear here, so he will have to disengage eventually. Or move units north. Yeah, no, we wanted to rest these units for one turn. Give them some time to recuperate. Move them on next turn. We did some attacks here that did go well. Did our job here. Yeah, it's all about the attacks here. Have our headquarters in this. Okay, these units are not too strong. Headquarters, it works. As you can see here, the 2 out of 5 is the distance to its core. If the core is further than 5 hexes away, it doesn't really support this unit. And that's why we had to move it up. Like if it's blue, everything is fine. If a unit is red, it's out of range. And then cores have a 15 hex range to their army. And then armies have a 45 range to their army group, in which they can operate within effective measures. So yeah, this here is interesting. 10 and 13. I think that's stuff we can break. This we can break. And then we gonna try to 10. Gonna try to cross the river down here. Ah, they hold our attack. They take a lot of air casualties. But we don't get the air support, and we would have needed to break them there, I think. It was only them getting air support. We're gonna attack this from 2 flanks. That worked out really nicely. 146 Soviet tanks destroyed. If we have a look at losses this turn, we can see what that kind of was. Okay, it's mostly T-26s, some KV-1s, some T-38s, T-7s, a couple of T-34s destroyed this turn so far. We lost a couple of rifle squadrons, good amount of support. We lost a lot of vehicles, which is rather bad. But that's mostly on the supply turn. Like this is supply losses. And we lost a couple of tanks up here. Like 3 Panzer 38s just lost there. But yeah, this means that we now should be able to move on with these. 20th Panzer, 8th Infantry. And then we should be able to strike east here from Smolensk. Yes, we do. This is swampy terrain though, which is obviously not great. But that will threaten his rear. This number up here is the entrenchment level. We don't want to have that going up too far. And we want to have him evacuate around a lot of places. The blue forces are our 2nd Panzer Corps, Panzer Group, which is supposed to strike southeast towards Bryansk, towards the rear of like Chernigov, trying to threaten the Kiev units. The question is really how much fight he offers at Kiev now. Like his propaganda was he won't give up Kiev. Like that was what he told me. Currently it looks like he might actually though. And just hold it with a token force. Repairing rail up here. Dublin. Do you have a rail yard? It's really weird that Bobrusk doesn't. This doesn't have a rail yard either. Okay, that is interesting. Okay, so yeah, this is Army Group Center done for the turn as well. Casualties so far, 66,000 to 18,000. Casualties start to mount. This is not great. Okay, we push them back here. They still get big air support here. We don't. And we can move with this down south. Let's have a look at the hexes we have here. So yeah, getting to Roslavel from the south would be nice towards, so that we have a northern flank to Bryansk, but our push should be going over here. Outflanking Gomel. Let's move in front of Gomel first and see where his units are around here, if we find anything here, before we do that one. This game is, if you want to have the the full-on Eastern Front experience, this is the game. But it costs you a lot of time, and it is like especially time-consuming. It also is a lot of learning experience, but there's no other game like it. Like, it really simulates the Eastern Front down to the core, and it's really interesting. In general, all Gary Crispy games are great. My favorite is still War in the Pacific of Gary Crispy games, because I'm, first of all, a big fan of naval and aerial warfare, and that game has way better simulation of it than these. Especially naval is obviously not a big role here. But yeah, for the War in the East, there is no better game. Like, the simulation level and so on is amazing. Okay, we can't move further east here. These units will withdraw next turn anyways, so no matter where we put them, we just try to capture hexes right now. These security forces, they will be put onto partisan duty next turn. Anti-partisan duty. So we just try to clear some more hexes before that. But yeah, there's like the simulation is down to the single soldier basically, and the control is down to the single brigade, division, and slash brigade level, like in some extent brigade level. So it has a good amount of automatisms compared to 1D East 1, so it's not as hard to learn. It's just a lot of and as hard to manage. It's just a lot of stuff that's happening. Like, that's the major thing. Like, okay, we take all of this, which is allowing us to go towards the east here. Now the big question is, where is he around here? Is he in front? Is he even having anything in Gormel? Is Gormel even worth it? He has one unit in Gormel with 10 defense, which is basically nothing. So he gives us Gormel as well. His defensive strategies are interesting. I mean, it makes sense. Like, learning from history, the Russians got overrun. The Russians lost a lot of units, giving up territory. It makes a lot of sense. Just focusing on the victory points, maybe. But obviously, eventually he has to stand his ground somewhere. And the big question is, where will that be? Because it doesn't seem to be here. Doesn't seem to be here either. These units are all rather weak. As you can see, 3 defense is basically nothing. Like, we will be able to break this unit here easily. This attack. Yeah. Even though he has air support and we don't. Which is really painful. But we have airplanes now up here on these airfields, but the airfields are not doing so well just yet. Might have done a slight mistake bringing units up here already. I mean, these airfields seem to be fine, but that's mostly recon planes, I think. If I remember correctly. Yeah, so yeah, this is still not a good, strong defensive force. He obviously wants to block us from Moscow. And he wants to block us in the south. Das Reich, Motorized Division. We'll break through here. That was a good attack. 26 Soviet planes shot down. Das Reich will go 1 hex back afterwards. This infantry division. Oh, you're directly on the 2nd Panzer Corps. You're in the 2nd Motorized Corps. Do this attack. I also took support units of the north and put them into especially this panzer group and the southern panzer group. So these should be even stronger now, as if you can have a look here, like these units here have assigned a lot of artillery units, a lot of anti-aircraft units, that then will be used and assigned to divisions when they attack. Like if my core is close enough, and has good enough connection to the frontline units, they have access to these artillery units and so on to achieve their breakthroughs. And yeah, that's exactly what's happening right now here. Okay, that's rather strong. That is rather strong. We might need another unit here. Together with an infantry unit, this panzer division should be able to... Yeah, that's a relatively open hex. This is a ratio I like. Might even go up. Yeah. That we couldn't break through up here is annoying. The goal of the blue forces is to secure the flank. And break through here. You can slow down the... Here you can see the number of units involved, and they were able also to see that some infantry divisions had supply units and so on. Yeah. If we have a look on this here, for example, North Africa events are moved forward because our units there were set back. Western Europe, we have more units than necessary. We play without micromanaging them, but like the supply forces and combat in the West is simulated. We just don't control it directly. We are in control of the Eastern Front. We are not directly in control of all of these units. That's, for example, all the units on the Western Front, the armored divisions here, 2nd Panzer, 5th Panzer, regiments and so on. But they will request, when the Allies land, they will request our forces. And some of our forces will be then withdrawn to the West, which will weaken us. And these units here also will take damage based on combat rolls each turn, and will need, obviously, reinforcements out of the reserve from Berlin. So all of this is simulated, not directly controlled. Not directly controlled. There might be a game by Gary Crigsby in the making which controls all of this. Like, there is a War in the West game where you control the other side and don't control the East, starting in 1943 with Tunis and like Algeria falling, and then the landings like Operation Husky, and then later Normandy, where you can control all of this. It's a really good game as well. Slightly worse in the UI and stuff because it's the predecessor to this game. But as you can see, like all the supply and so on is here is already simulated. So I would expect a war in Europe kind of game out of Gary Crigsby starting in 1941. I would doubt they will do a full 1939 to 1945 campaign, because their game doesn't really simulate peacetime and static front lines like that so well, I would say. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the main scenario is Husky to victory. And yeah, here we go on. It's only 2 infantry divisions, but they are on... Like, I don't quite get why this is supposedly so strong. Don't know the entrenchment. I have the feeling we should be able to beat this. But we only have... We did an attack with this one already. Yeah, not with a single infantry division. We won't break this. Okay. It's also not really worthwhile breaking. This unit should move here. We should be moving up here instead. This one can move in there. Mm. Yeah, we want to threaten his rear here. We can move around this unit, that would be perfect. Next turn. And then we focus here again into Army Group Center. This is mediocrely strong. Okay. Oh, there is strong forces there in our way, in our path. Those are rather scary. Okay. Yeah, here not so much yet. Yeah, we can break up our tank divisions into brigade levels as well. We should have done that earlier. I think by now divisions are necessary to break through when it comes to the strength. These infantry divisions will lead the charge here towards the east, towards Bryansk. One push around here, one push through the open hexes down here. Good strike. 25 airplane destroyed. It's quite solid, though most of the airplanes that we currently destroy are not really worth mentioning. Oh, this was majorly successful. Ah, okay, fight. Okay, we kind of want to eliminate this formation here as well to just be able to push over here. Yeah, that's not a great fight, but it is what it is. To allow our tanks to move towards Bryansk. Infantry division did its duty. This hex is better. Let's attack them with 2 motorized brigades. Ensure victory. We get some howitzers. We show victory. Oh, this seems rather weak. I hope we can make this. Ah, we pushed them back, but we don't inflict major casualties. They were able to retreat in rather good order. Still need to get rid of this down here. Just so that our units can move more freely. Like we need to free our tank divisions here from being blocked up by these units on their flank. Then yeah, Gomel will fall. He's not defending that. This could be an interesting pocket. So I doubt we will be able to nail them down this term there. Yeah, the UI is super functional. The UI is amazingly functional. It's a good design. Okay, there should be a unit here then. Yes. That should be an easy victory over headquarter unit. Oh, Chukov directly involved. Pushing them back. Our armored division here. Ah, slightly out of headquarter range. Okay. but they retreat once more in rather good fashion. Okay, this time we got them. This time we wiped that one out. These spread out. To protect us against counterattacks. And then the northern strike force still has to move in here. Need to get rid of this unit on the side, but this is rather strong. But if we move in without getting rid of this, then we have so little action points left. They're all supposedly rather strong. We gotta try here. And believe that our commander, if not able to break through, is able to disengage. Oh, we killed the general. Okay, we achieved breakthrough here. Now we are in their rear over here, where we can inflict heavy casualties. Nice. We can't move all the way there. Wish we could go one hex further. But yeah, threatening this means that he will have to retreat, leave us the river, get to Bryansk. I don't quite have the force I would love to have here to actually strike further south. At the same time as striking east, but we have to try to get some pockets. So we got to do it this way. This headquarter unit will move up here. We soon should have supplies. So yeah, he's not having anything in here. So I guess it's time for Army Group South already. We have another motorized brigade that can come up. We have a tank division that arrived on the front line. These two infantry divisions, these two infantry divisions. So yeah, a lot of reinforcements for Army Group South here. We'll just march on for now. Bit of a reserve force already. Actually can get into striking distance of stuff. But we had a pocket here, but somehow he was able to escape out of there. Like, it was not quite as close as I thought it would be, which is quite shameful. Malin. Yeah, the big question is, how well is he entrenched at Kiev? Their unit here? No. So we really can march directly onto Kiev. That's just actually nothing. What? Okay, he's holding everything super lightly. Heavy air support here for him. Okay, this is not a strong force either. They are at least well entrenched here, but they should not be a problem. Yeah, they really ain't. Okay, he still gives up so much territory. How strong is Kiev? 100. Okay, Kiev is strong. That was, I mean, yeah, not having Kiev and at all would be weak. The outskirts are laughable though. Yeah, this is not a defensive line whatsoever here. Like even this is, yeah, all of this is insanely weak. The river crossing here is surprisingly lightly defended. Like I thought he maybe then holds on the other side of the Dnepr. That doesn't seem to be fully the case either. How strong is he up here? Do we get any intel there? Also not so, okay. I mean, the hex behind Kiev would be really interesting. You can't get up there yet. Okay. You could, right? No. But you can. That will be an interesting hex next turn. That will be a really interesting hex next turn. I kind of want to do Odessa first here now. And see if we can strike that town down this turn. With everything we got. Coming in here. This is 4 divisions. 4 has to move up. Directly under Army Group Antonescu. Can go under this Romanian army. Has some engineers, some machine gun battalions attached. Okay. Do we have another strong division in here? That can move in there then. And then we have an attacking force of 139 versus 90 for the defenders. This is here. This headquarter has to move up. To allow really all support units here working. Yeah, Romanian artillery is in this one as well. Okay. You are in range. All of you are in range. All of you are in range. Nope. This one has to move closer. It can move up all the way here as well. And now we're gonna strike Fortress Odessa. Yes! That is an important victory here in the south. Odessa is captured. They tried to evacuate. Okay, actually, surprisingly, many of these units were able to evacuate. We had the whole pocket closed, no? Okay. Okay, we capture more there then. Our naval aviation, I guess, was not strong enough, so they actually were able to escape. But we take Odessa, which victory point-wise is absolutely important. Yeah, that gets us up to Fort 53. That was 16 victory points that we absolutely needed to ensure that we have a bit more freedom in where we go this. Like, as I said, we need 525 victory points. We are now at 453. So we can even be a bit late on some others. The +6 behind means this is the extra number you get if you get it behind ahead of schedule compared to historical dates. So if we get Tallinn, if we would get Tallinn now, we would be ahead of schedule and would get extra 6 and so on. And yeah, the Odessa one was really important. We won't get to the 700 that we would need for instant victory now, but it also sets us up for potentially insta victory better in 1942 when the threshold is a different one. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Turn on troops here. Also means that our Romanian units can move on already from down here way earlier than historically. Like, if you have a look on the historical date, Odessa fell in October 1941. And we got it now in July 1941. Like, Odessa was a super hard fortress to breach for the Romanians. permanently supplied by the Navy and so on as well. So getting Odessa, big victory. That was a morale boost I needed as a player as well. Also, obviously, because he defended it way lighter than historically, but it means that we now have a Romanian army that can go places. A Romanian rail repair unit. It's best here. Katerina is not a supply hub that is worthwhile. Triaspol. Different story, right? Yes. Oh, you need to get repaired better, Triaspol. Okay. Capturing these. That is a major success. Okay. Let's go on here. That really was the success we needed. Just for my brain. To be like, oh yeah, we ain't doing terribly. I mean, we ain't doing terribly all around, I would say. It's just that we won't stomp him into the dust. He for sure knows what he's doing. He played quite a couple of 1941 rounds as the Soviets. He's still also not... He has never played behind 1941, really, because all his multiplayer games so far have tumbled out. I'm not gonna do that. Even if it goes badly, we will try to play on. Yeah. And see how it goes. I think that's the only way how you learn and get better in this game, is by failure and learning from it. This unit was the only counterattack he did last turn. It got pummeled. We pushed really hard with this Slovak brigade, and yeah, it got pushed back, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, our southern pincer is now the one that needs to do the work. We push that guy around. This is an infantry division that can do the attack on this one. Oh, we have actual aircraft coming in here. That's not what we want right there. Okay, we got rid of this. These guys escaped, but we still did good damage there. And now, yeah, we can't move on to Kiev directly. Gotta try to get a river crossing happening over here. What is this? Kanev as well. We potentially could pocket some units on the other side of the river. That would be amazing. It ain't as easy as it is early on, and he really avoids it nicely. Like, it's frustrating because we don't get the big pockets that Germany got early in the early war. But that's also mostly because he is just avoiding them. I mean, we had the pocket at Smolensk. We had a pocket at, and we had pockets in the early war, early game. Like, we had a good unit around pocket around Lviv, good pocket around Minsk. Like, all of that was not so troublesome, but this here now is a different story because he's just not standing to fight at Kiev, it seems. Like, in Kiev itself, yes, but around Kiev, not at all. Which might be a wise choice. Kanev taken. So we can move on to the edge there. The Slovaks, I would say, can be added to 6th Army, right? Yeah. Ah, no, 6th Army is also full already. Okay, then you just stay with rear line duty. 2nd Army could potentially attach you to 2nd Army. Do we want to do that? Move them even further north, that we would have to redo this. Yeah, we attach them to 2nd Army. The Slovakians are... We want to spread out our allied forces a bit. They're not as good as the Germans. Oh, the Slovakian division with... they withdraw next turn anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Wow. Yeah, they were not in for long. I guess we will get them back eventually. But yeah, the Slovak division's only here for a really short while, it seems. Yeah, that's the first withdrawal wave. Afterwards, we won't have many withdrawals of units of ours in 1941 and 1942 for that reason, for that matter. But in 1943, it starts to be really frustrating for the Axis because obviously a lot of resources have to be put elsewhere. So we will start losing units there and have to really keep an eye on it, on where units go. Like in 1942 and 1943, only units get withdrawn for... The only units that get withdrawn there are units that will be rebuilt elsewhere. And then potentially come back again. Okay, his defensive line on the other side of the Dnepr is not that strong. We want the crossing here, so we will set up more forces here. And even split that up here. Hold this with brigades and then... Yeah, let's split one or two of these up and cover a bit more front line. Please don't withdraw anytime soon, that's good. Yeah, this may not be broken down. Okay. I would say we continue with the rest of the Romanian forces. Our Romanian armored division down here. We march on over here. Down. Yes, defensive line here currently. But that doesn't seem to be too strong either. This formation is supposed to get to these two towns. The Romanians and this corps will strike south for the Germans, but this part of the 11th Army will strike east. Okay, these units are not too strong either, but we can't strike them at the moment. Yeah, as we otherwise we'll have a gap up here, so we really kind of need to these units around here. Thought about going to Crimea with these, but I'm not gonna do this. We will need German units in front of Sevastopol, as the Romanians are not gonna be strong enough to take that. But for now, we go on here. A unit over there. Expect so? Yes. Romanian armored division moves down south here towards Novaya Odessa. Okay. Yeah, no, that river crossing is well defended. These mountaineering brigades, I mean, they're really big for. This is more a division than it actually is. Like it tells you first Romanian mountaineer brigade, but it's 12,000 men. But they have a strong attack value. They have actually decent level veterancy for the Romanians. The armored division, decent level veterancy as well. They have some R35Ts, R35s and some R2s, mostly R2s though, which are only having a 37mm gun. Decent tanks all, but not amazing. A lot of 60mm mortars, or a decent amount. Some 100mm guns. Some old, yeah. So it's a decent formation, but yeah, these mountaineering are kind of the best that the Romanians have. Even though they're only brigades, but they have more attack power than the divisions. Even though the divisions have 5,000 men more, but here experience level is 20% less. So yeah, like these divisions. By now, this one has experience a bit from combat. These German divisions obviously way better though. Like 80% experience is really good on an infantry unit here. Meanwhile, this unit will move on here. Take out that formation. Good strike. Okay. Let's just get rid of the enemy around us. Do we have an infantry unit up here? No. Not really worth it moving that infantry division there. Move this one up. Attack across the river. Yeah, that's not a force here holding us. It is getting completely demolished. Okay. You can move on there. And you can move there. Do this attack. 3-hour units. Move up over here. We don't know how strong they are here. Okay, yeah, this doesn't lead to attacks, so I'll move you here. Move you there as well. And then with 2, this should be broken. Yes! Successful attack, even against armored units. Like, their armored losses this turn must be relatively high again. 600. Yeah, 10 to 1 is achieved there again. Only thing where we don't have 10 to 1 currently is infantry losses, but a lot of that is disabled men for us, which got hit by partisans or stuff, or just sick. So these will come back eventually when it comes to. But yeah, it's for the Soviets, a lot of men disabled as well. But the captured ones don't come back, and when we compare these numbers, it's more than 10 to 1 actually. So that's the good part, and the amount of losses they took this turn is really good again. Like every turn above 100,000 is a good turn. We will get there, back to 0. they will come for us. Don't you worry. I'm really optimistic we will lose this this conflict, but it will take a while. And the getting there is the interesting part, obviously. The Hungarians can take care of this security force. Don't think they can attack a tank formation, no. Hungarian motorized brigades have Toldi 2s, and some Ansaldo Italian L3 tankets, so they really don't have the strength to really push through. We will get Hungarian units later on. If we have a look, Hungarians that are a bit better. But only in 1944, the 2nd Hungarian Armored Brigade, the Pancelos division, that everyone in Steel Division now knows. Like, that will come around in 1944 with Tyrants and Toldis. And then the heavy tank company will get Tigers and Panthers in June 1944. But until then, our frontline units, they will get Panzer IVs later on, but for now they are relatively outdated. Yeah. No, it's play by email. He's not online right now. He's in America now, which is actually quite fitting because then I always can play my turn, give it to him, and while I sleep, he can play his turn. So yeah, it's play by email. He doesn't have to be online. It's like, yeah, chess with. Okay, we can attack this one. Ah, they hold. Yeah, Hungarian attack power not that great. Okay. Now we want to get this river crossing here at next to Cherkasy. We don't want to take Cherkasy itself. That would be a waste of time and resources. I would say these 2 divisions potentially should be enough. Let's try to get air support. Yes, they absolutely are enough. That actually maybe even was overkill. Okay, we can cross, but we can't do much on the other side. And let's free this hex. Wait, we can't do a deliberate attack there. We gotta push a bit further. Guess that's because we don't have a great crossing here. The major river after all. We might have to reach Akasi after all. Units there. Okay, let's do it with these units then. Akasi will fall. We don't want to take the other units over here. Yes, if he withdraws them, he withdraws them, but we need the river crossing, I guess, here. The long way around. Okay, that was a good attack, actually. That seems to be a rather weak force on the other side there, so... Can we just attack them this way? No. From here we can attack them. Yeah. Okay, we are getting a river crossing over the Dnepr. As I said, we avoid this. Can't move all the way up there. So they can potentially fill that gap next turn again. Would be painful. But we break through here to the side. Okay, and we break the headquarter unit in the rear. Which actually should allow us to move this unit up here. That was a good attack. Yeah, now we can. Now we're talking. Okay, he has no units there. Now we're talking. Unit will move up here to protect that headquarter. Well, that headquarter will move on here, but protect us from getting pushed into this flank. Would be nasty. They could cut us off our supply. Okay, we really get stuff done now. Move on to the other side. These two have the power to annihilate this formation. To fly some bomber attacks with this as well. Air losses this turn. 300 to 78. Not great. As our bombers are working somewhat without air cover. We destroyed a lot of SB2s. Destroyed a couple of Yak 2s, MiG 3s. I-16, so yeah, no I-15s anymore at least. So it's just good planes down here that we now destroy. But we lost a lot of Ju-88s, which we won't have endless of. So yeah, that is that part. This formation can come up all the way here. Another motorized brigade, which will help out. Strike down here. Heavily exhausted now after this march. And we will attach it to the motorized core. We don't have any infantry units in here, right? No. And the Feldbahn Division needs to build up the rail yard up to Vinica, Kalinkova. Hey. Hey! We can't repair that one, but we are already on it. And yeah, these rails, the black and white ones are the good rails, the two-way rails. These ones are the single rails. So repairing the good rails is obviously way more important. A lot more tonnage can come through these. We will build up a depot up here. Kazatin. Oh wait, that's not a... Okay. Where's the next rail junction? Fastov. We can already repair that, hopefully. Because Fastov will be important. Vinica should be a, yeah, number 2 rail yard. Rail depot here. Actually, then this one is not really... Fastov is only level 1 rail yard, right? No, level 2 as well. Okay. Bazalikov, no rail yard. We don't have any info about this one. But Kiev, or do we? No, yeah, okay, level 5 rail yard, obviously, yeah. Kiev is major. So down here we have a level 1 rail yard. So Vinica is way better than Semerinka, which is good. Or not way better, but better. Currently we come up from Proshkurov, which is a level 2 rail yard as well. Just nearly repaired. Tarnopol, level 2, getting good repairs in. And then Lviv obviously being a major one as well, with a level 6 rail yard, which slowly gets repaired as well. But a good amount of supply, I think, still comes out of there. Wait, why is it not showing supply hexes right now? If I click 8, doesn't show me that anymore. Okay, I guess we can't do it at this stage in the fight. But this is turn now. Yeah, so losses in the end, round losses, 26,000 to 174,000. Solid. We have 90 tanks to 1,100 tanks destroyed. Or armored fighting vehicles, which is really good. That was a good turn in armored fighting vehicles destroyed. In the end here, especially in the south. A lot of them are T-26s, which are obsolete, but they nearly lost as many T-72s as T-34s as we lost armored fighting vehicles and KV-1s. And those are the important ones. So 90 of those destroyed, quite important. BT-7s, yeah, it's good to destroy them. They obviously don't have the major firepower. T-40s a bit better. No KV-1s around anymore. We destroyed 73 of these already. They don't seem to have that many. Yeah, but yeah, T-34s are important. Our tanks losses, mostly Panzer IIIs this turn, which is not good. Panzer IIIs rather valuable. Yeah, rather would have seen Panzer IIs destroyed. But yeah, other than that, obviously a lot of casualties here as guns also nearly 1 to 10, which is really good. Gun destroyed in general is a really good ratio here. We have a look onto the graphs. They are still going up in... That's losses. Out of battle. They still went up in guns last turn. This turn they went down a bit. And our reinforcements coming in so slowly that we, on the map, go down in guns. But we still have a good bit more than them. Armored fighting vehicles, they are continuously dropping and coming down to our level. If we can reach parity here, that would be amazing. And then manpower-wise, they are lower than we are by over 1 million. But they obviously get way more reinforcements. So the heavy casualties they take are necessary to keep them down here. If we can keep them below us here, that would until 1942, that would be amazing. Let's see how that goes. Airplane-wise, they really went back up because they got a lot of airplanes moved over from the east. And that also will be when the manpower will jump up, when their Eastern Front units will arrive. Tank-wise, that shouldn't be too much of a jump. Gun-wise, it should be a slight jump. Yeah, so let's see how that goes. As we now, I think, have everything moved. Let me double check our real line. Yeah, everything here has moved. We have moved the tank division south. We did that right at the beginning. I had that on my list from the get-go. We get our repair units here that all do their job. You can't move anywhere of importance. You will be withdrawn next turn as well. But you might as well do that here. We move the units here. Can move a couple of headquarters that are of importance here around. You are at a good spot. You should move up to Smolensk. 3rd Panzer Group. 9th Army should stay at Orsha to help out with the reinforcements there. The Corps can stay in here as well. Help out in Smolensk, where we should get rail next turn. These all moved up. You are still fine here. You are still fine here. Oh, this division can move up. Okay, that's a division we missed. Good. That you can't cross the river is frustrating. All of these units, okay, you can move further. You can't move on. You are in a fine position. Maybe move you on to the other side here. Yeah, we could use some rest with our armored formations. That's why we didn't attack here. They hopefully should go up next turn. They recover from their stress. They get a bit of combat readiness again. Obviously gives the enemy time as well. Yeah, this attack here has to wait till next turn, where we will then strike in front of Smolensk. That Smolensk itself has fallen is good though. And this is really good as well here. That this the motorized division should be able to move on, right? Yeah, actually it can. That's good. One more hex towards Peno. Getting some supply up here. That we don't have a rail connection here obviously means that these units here are a bit in stress, but they have Peshkov now, and they will get rail down here south. I don't think this is a rail hex. No. Itritsa is a rail hex most likely. Yes. We will get there, and then we will build important rails up to Vileki Luki, which goes to Vitebsk though. Yeah. We wanted to have these resting. We moved our units up here. That's good. Okay, so everything is done then. So we will move this turnover to our opponent. Yeah. Thanks for watching some more War in the East. And here we go. Logistics going in. All of this stuff. And then it's his turn. So yeah, see you next time for War in the East 2. And if you're watching this on YouTube, consider following and subscribing and leaving a like so that more people see this amazing game. And also, if you want to see it live, consider checking out the Twitch. And yeah, for That's it. Bye-bye. And for all of you of Twitch, we're gonna go into Wano after a short break and check out all the new stuff there. Yeah, gonna get myself something from the bakery, and then I'm gonna be back with some Wano.